All right, this game is not final yet, but it is. I'll have the final score in the thumbnail. But San Diego State belt to you know what on Air Force. It was not from the get go, but San Diego State, they got a wake up call and they crushed Air Force. This was a game, I think John Schaefer said earlier today that it was a quad four game for San Diego State, which means essentially, for those that don't know much about that, this team sucks. You have to go beat them. You're playing at home, 3-11 going in, 0-3 in conference. I was looking at Air Force's schedule going into tonight's game a little bit earlier today, and they had lost to teams that I didn't even know what conference those teams played in. Maybe North Texas was one of those teams, but it was just very small schools. Obviously, can't name an alumni from that school. Yeah, just Air Force. I know that they have restrictions, right? And NIL is one of those things. They're not. I don't think they're just not going to be one of those top teams in a conference. So it's just one of those go take care of business, win the game. In San Diego State, they didn't do it at the start. I thought that Air Force, they were showing that they wanted it more. I thought that there were times, I remember one case where Dutch immediately calls timeout after a three's made by Air Force because San Diego State, well, I don't know if this is why he called the timeout, but just me watching the game, San Diego State, they weren't running to go try to go block the shot, try to go contest three, just wide open threes. So did Air Force start off the game shooting well? Yeah. Did San Diego State suck starting the game shooting wise? Yeah. But at the same time, I think that it could have been not as bad if maybe the effort was a little bit better there, but they got the wake up call. They got the message. At one point, they went on a 40-4 run in this game. Absolutely ridiculous. Air Force, they went on a run. I forget what the exact number was, but it was pretty lopsided, like 25-4 or something like that. And then San Diego State said, all right, we'll go on the 26-4 run. I think that was before it ended up being 40-4 on that one run that San Diego State went on. But yeah, I thought once they got that wake up call, you saw the athleticism, you saw them getting back to playing like dominant basketball, and that's what they need to do. Man, Miles Bird, Nick Boyd, are they fun to watch or what? Same thing with Magoon Guath, obviously. 5 rebounds as of now. I was just watching the game before coming on here. Miles Bird has already exited the game. Once that happened, I was like, all right, I'm done. To be quite honest, I'm doing this right now because obviously the game's over, blowout, and I want to go to bed. So there you go. But yeah, Nick Boyd, he dunked. I didn't know that he could do that, but the San Diego State bench went wild. I went wild in my head. Like that was pretty awesome to see. And then Miles Bird, I mean, we saw blocks on one end and then boom, quick transition, dunk on the other. It was just dominant at some points in this game for San Diego State, which was great. And so they're going to get their 10th win on the year. They'll improve to 3-1 in conference play. Obviously, that one loss being Utah State. And they've got, or I think, a really interesting game coming up on the road at New Mexico on Saturday, which obviously will be a tougher test than Air Force at home, you know. But yeah, Miles Bird, the athleticism, the length, his wingspan, he showed that off tonight. Just again, the athleticism, the talent there. If Miles Bird can go now, I want him to shoot better from 3, 0 for 5 from 3, but if he can play free and relaxed and use that athleticism to his advantage, play with energy, same thing with Nick Boyd, and we'll see the progression of some of these guys, then the San Diego State team could do some pretty special things coming up later this year in March. But another thing I should note is the Aztecs, maybe part of why they were off to the slow start tonight was because they were without some of their depth. Miles Heide was out. He did not play in this game. DeMarsha Johnson Jr., he is out. I think they said on the broadcast he was dealing with an illness. So that led to, I mean, we saw Kimo Ferrari. This is the most that he's probably going to play in a single game this year. He was playing first half, not second half in, garbage time, like he was just it was cool that he made that layup, and the San Diego State crowd goes nuts, obviously, so cool moment for him because I remember him getting in a game. Was it at Fresno or was it in Vegas? I forget where, but it was like, "Shoot, shoot, shoot, we wanna see him score," and he wasn't able to, but he was able to today, so that was awesome. Um, but yeah, just more playing time for some of these other guys, and San Diego State, I think they showed tonight that and they have showed at points this year that, yes, they still do have depth. We'll see about Reese Waters, that's obviously I feel like I mention that after every Aztecs game, but I should because that's a big piece, that's a really good shooter. He was a starter this past year, yeah, last year for the Aztecs, I believe. If I'm wrong and I'm just totally blanking, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure he was. And I know he was going to be this year, and then he gets hurt. And it seems like the progression there hasn't gone as well as they wanted it to. And then we're going to see that there's going to be a decision to be made. Does Reese Waters transfer? Does he redshirt this year? Does he say, I want to be done with college and just return this year, play at the end of the year, try to help this Aztecs team go win and go far in the tournament? So we'll see what happens there. But without him, BJ Davis can shoot. Miles Bird can shoot. We've seen that. Nick Boyd can shoot. There are guys on this team that can do that. And there are vets that can come off the bench. And then there's young guys that can come off the bench as well that also have athleticism. So it's an interesting team. It's a fun team to watch, especially when they're playing dominant basketball. I know that's probably like, yeah, no duh, Ben, but when they're playing dominant, they really show you can see that athleticism. You can see them like anticipating a pass that's going to come when they're on the defensive side and they go snatch it and let's show off the show, a Miles Bird left-handed, one-handed dunk, you know? So overall, fun night. I don't want to say I was worried at the beginning because it's not like they were playing Utah State. They're playing Air Force. So I always thought they were going to win the game. But you always want it to be, just dominant from the very start and not go through what they did at the beginning. But hey, what I care about is did they get the win? And especially when it's a quad 4 game, which I think is what it was, did you blow out the team? And they did.